Good morning, Fraser.
Hello,
Hi.
Sharon.
How are you
I'm
today?
fine. How are you?
Welcome to the Science Park. It's great to have you here, and I can't wait to hear all about Paranormal Scotland.
It's brilliant to be here.
Yeah, lovely.
you.
What can you tell me about Paranormal Scotland?
Paranormal-Scotland is a paranormal investigation events company.
An events company.
We facilitate paranormal investigations for everybody. You don't need to be a parapsychologist with us to investigate. We give you the tools to make the investigation your very own investigation.
Oh, so you become like a...
You become
Your own
your very
investigator.
own paranormal investigator for the night. We kit you out with a lanyard. So, we've got our lanyard to identify us as staff, but you get your own lanyard when you're at the event. You also get a wristband, like the ones you get at concerts, things like that. So you have that.
Very
so
organised.
You become part of Paranormal Scotland for the night. So it's an experience.
You are an investigator for that evening.
Yeah.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
So what can guests expect when they turn up at an event?
When they first turn up, they'll get a warm welcome. They'll come and get a tea and a coffee. It's very important at the start of any investigation. We run safety as a priority, so we make everyone aware who's first aid trained. So the staff that are first aid trained will have this uniform on, and it'll say on their left arm, first aider. We also go over the housekeeping rules for locations, fire safety, things like that. And we're fully insured. We take care of our guests.
Oh, wonderful. So what kind of, do you use any equipment to do these investigations with? Or
Loads of equipment. So when each guest, at the briefing at the start of the night, we will offer them each pieces of equipment. So they'll have a EMF meter, a temperature probe. These are really the basics of what you would have in a ghost hunting kit. Mm-hmm. So we can take, with the temperature probe, we can take an isolated temperature reading from a single spot, or we can get the temperature reading of an environment. Also, we have had amazing communication with spirits using these EMF meters, and they're really good for yes and no. So they're really good. We also have other pieces of kit. For example, let's say we're investigating a camera factory. This is an old Kodak camera. So a spirit of 100 years ago would know exactly what this is. They wouldn't know what a digital camera is, would they? No. So that's just a little box then. But this would be familiar. So a lot of our kit is custom built, and it can be tailored to each location that we go to. As well, for example, if we went to a telephone factory, a telephone, they're going to be familiar with this.
So it's a whole host of different locations that you can go to, and you've got different... So different things you can use for different locations. It's tailored. Yeah,
definitely. Mm-hmm. A lot of our kit is custom built, and we will tailor it to each location. So experiments, kit, everything's tailored. So it's a unique experience. It's not just we're going to haunted locations and we're taking the same equipment and technology with us to each location. There's a thought process that goes into it. We're going to think what's going to react better here, what's going to entice the spirits to come forward, what are they going to be familiar with. So we tailor everything.
So what kind of locations have you been at?
We've been, most recently we were at Proven Hall, and that's an Easter house in Glasgow. That's a medieval fortified house. So the archbishops of Glasgow used this building to administer the estate, the business, basically. Not only that, with the other notable people that stayed there was Mary Queen of Scots, her dad, her grandfather. So we've had kings and queens there. It's really got it all there. It's got poltergeist activity, it's got disembodied voices, it's got full body manifestations, it's got shadow people. During our investigation there, we set up a trigger object experiment, and every trigger object experiment we set up in any location is tailored to the location. So for example, in Proven Hall, the Titanic's junior Marconi operator was a caretaker there. So we tailored that trigger object to the location. So we had Titanic coins. Sadly, when we were doing the trigger object, the batteries were drained, which is quite common with paranormal activity. They'll gather energy from everywhere, from all sources. And they did that with our batteries, so they died. And it's frustrating because the coins did move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you must have quite a lot of experience in paranormal. What would you say was one of your most earliest?
My earliest experience, I would say, was when I was around about 4 years old. And I remember it was in our old house, and it's your standard typical British semi-detached. You walk in the front door and the stairs are there. Yeah. Living room, dining room downstairs, 3 bedrooms and toilet upstairs. So 4 years old, and I remember looking up the stairs and I seen just a figure glowing. Yeah. It was as if it was glowing like the sun, just standing there looking down.
Wow, yeah. That's exciting.
Yeah.
So guests can take part in these activities when you go to these apparently haunted locations.
Definitely. When the guests are at location and they're on an event with us, it's their event, it's their investigation. We are there to support them. We bring the equipment and we have the knowledge to support them in their investigation. So if they want to use a certain piece of equipment, we'll help them. We'll show them how to work it, and
Oh, so they become investigators.
Yeah, 100%.
That's
at the
exciting.
Investigations, they receive. We have our staff lanyards, but they also receive their own lanyards with Paranormal-Scotland logos on it. So they're very much part of the team.
What kind of activities can your guests expect to be involved with at these events?
There's lots of activities we do. We do everything from seances, communication boards, table tipping, dowsing rods, pendulums, everything. Yeah, so they've got a wide range of activities. It's not as if they're just going to go to that area, do one thing, and then that's it. It's a variety.
So a seance,
yeah.
That sounds interesting.
It is, yes.
Yeah. So what would happen if I started to feel a little bit scared or?
Well, first of all, it's a natural human thing, emotion to experience. So you wouldn't be made to feel, shunned or anything like that. Every event we have a designated safe zone, which is generally where we have our tea and coffee and take our breaks. The lights will always remain on in that area, and it will remain comfortable and familiar. So you could, if things do get a bit too much for you, you feel this is getting a bit overwhelming, you can always take yourself there, have a cup of tea, regather yourself, and then come and join us again.
So what kind of equipment would you be using in the background to monitor activity?
We'll have night vision cameras constantly running in the background. A lot of evidence from investigations are caught on night vision cameras, and when you go back to review it, that's when you pick up things such as EVPs, which is electronic voice phenomenon.
Ooh.
We will sit in a location and it's a digital recorder, a dictaphone. We'll put it down and we'll ask questions. Is there anyone there? And then we wait 10 seconds and then we'll say, can you tell us your name?
Mm-hmm.
Things like that. So then we'll listen to it back, and hopefully we're going to catch disembodied voices on that. Again, the guests are encouraged to take part.
Yeah,
so it is their investigation.
It is their investigation. So you mentioned earlier about the Edinburgh Vaults. Could you expand on that a little bit?
Well, where do we start with Edinburgh Vaults?
Yeah, what is the Edinburgh Vaults?
Edinburgh Vaults is basically a subterranean city. Now they were opened in 1788. Business moved down, shops, but not for long because it started to flood. So they moved out in around about 1820, but it wasn't abandoned. The low life of Edinburgh, the criminal underworld moved in. So there was all sorts of happenings down there. One of the ghosts that still haunts there is tied to that. He was he's called the Watcher. Also Mr. Boots, because you hear him stomping around and then he shouts at you to get out. He would go down there to apprehend the criminal underworld. So two notable people from the criminal underworld that operated there was Burke and Hare. Do you know, have you heard of Back in Here?
No.
So they were the body snatchers.
Ah, yeah, no, I do remember something about that.
Freshly deceased people
Yeah.
and sell them to
grave robbers.
Yeah, and they would sell them to the medical school. Now, there's a very famous spirit that's there called the Watcher, but he also goes by Boots. Now, his job back when the vaults was open was to go and apprehend criminals. So going into the vaults for him would be payday. He would always get somebody. Now he passed away in the vaults, and his spirit stays there, and he's still doing his job in spirit. And you're supposed to hear as his name goes, Boots. You hear the boots walking around, and when he comes closer, he's supposed to shout, "Get out!" when he's right up at you. So
do you have any equipment that would record the or would enable the spirits to interact with or use?
We do. One piece of kit we have is called an EM pump. It's an electromagnetic pump. So that emits. It's got two magnets. To explain it, it's got two magnets, and they spin opposite directions from each other, creating an electromagnetic field. The theory behind it is spirits can be drawn towards this, collect the energy. So it's like in a computer game when you go to recharge. That's what the theory is. So they go do that, and that can give them the energy to manifest and do what they want. The equipment we have to record it is, again, EVP, the digital recording. We've got the night vision cameras. Then we've got things like the REM pods, where they can approach, they give off an electromagnetic field. So we have, let's have a different one. Here's a different REM pod here. So it's the bell. Again, somebody from the 18th century, 17th century would be familiar with this. They can approach it, they can press it if they want, ding it, they can approach it, and it will automatically sense their presence and it will activate.
You're looking to stimulate spirits from the past?
Yeah, we're wanting to entice them, to encourage them to come forward. As I said, with the camera, they would recognise what that is. There's no point in us putting something that's digital, that's modern down, because they're not going to understand that. They're just going to think it's an alien object.
Yeah, you mentioned Govan in Glasgow. Yeah. Is there anything particularly interesting that happened at the event in
the Pearce Institute? The Pearce Institute is brilliant. It's the location that keeps on giving. It really is fantastic. So we've had quite a few good experiences there. One experience was we were in the MacLeod Hall. It's got an organ. The organ's entirely completely disconnected. It cannot activate, but it's known to play a tune at times. But we were in there and we had balloons on the dance floor. So we're saying, can you show us where you used to dance? And the balloons slowly moving. And we said, can you show us where you met the love of your life on the dance floor? So the balloon slowly moved over to an area, and then it started to bounce up and down. So that's one experience there. The basement is incredible. We had a music box. Now, a music box is like the REM pod. It's an infrared activated music box, so it will pick movement up. We had it in a room and we're asking questions. Now, it's supposed to be a negative entity down in the basement, and we were hearing it moving, the shuffling of the feet, and the music box was activating. One of the best pieces of evidence we collected from the Pearce Institute was the photograph that made it into the newspapers, which we believe could be Lady Pearce walking past the table.
Oh, so you caught that on... So were the media involved in that? That sounds really interesting.
Yeah. So it made it into the Glasgow Times newspaper. It was on the internet, several websites, well, actually too many to mention.
So you're going to make believers out of a lot of people then? Is this your aim, part of your aim, or has it always been an interest?
It's always been an interest, and it's not our job to preach it or make people believe it's us. It's for us. It's the educating people. It's allowing them to experience it.
Oh, so you feel it for yourself. I'm not sure. I mean, I would be very excited to come along to the event. To the event, it's be something very different, very challenging, something new to do, and that part of it I'd really enjoy. I think I might be scared, if that's the right word, or wary or frightened.
You wouldn't be. Everyone, you see it at the start of the night when all the guests are coming in and they're sitting down and they're having a cup of tea and coffee. You see them and they're all like rabbits caught in the headlights, some of them.
Yeah.
By the end of the night, it's as if we've all known each other for years. We're all sitting there talking to each other, sharing our experiences of the night. But we're not only just doing that, we're telling people about stories and experiences we've had years and years ago. So, yeah, you wouldn't be scared at all.
Yeah, because many people can tell you stories from their past of spiritual experiences and experiences of the paranormal.
Yeah.
Yeah. I understand Scotland is renowned really for paranormal activity.
Well, it's voted one of the most haunted countries in the world for paranormal activity.
So Fraser, how can I start to become involved if I want to find out a little bit more about Paranormal Scotland?
You can always go to our website, www.paranormal-scotland.co.uk. That has got all the information you need on there. You can find out about our upcoming events, all the information about it. You can also look at all our previous investigations. You can look at evidence collected. You can look at kit that we have. I brought a small selection of kit with me here today, but you'll be able to see the whole.
So I can find out more on social media.
Yeah, social media. We've got TikTok, we've got YouTube, we've got Instagram, we've got Facebook, we've got Twitter, X. Yeah, we've got everything we're covering. I
can't wait. I'm going to be delving deep.
Yeah, so there's no excuse.
Yeah, thank you very much for coming along today. It's really exciting, and I'm definitely looking forward to the up and coming events.
Yeah, thank you very much.
With great interest. Thank you very much, Fraser. Thank you.